Doctor, you can step down. Thank you. State can call the next witness.
Thank you, Judge. The state calls Dr. Alex Zhang.
Come right around, Doctor, if you don't mind. Just watch your step as you're going up to the witness stand for me.
Thank you.
Sir, can you put your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I will.
Okay. You can sit down and be comfortable. Once you're comfortable, you can state your full name for the record and spell your last name, please.
My name is Alex Zhang. Last name is Zhang.
Thank you. Prosecutor?
Thank you, Judge. Dr. Zhang, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you tell us where you currently work?
For the Chief Medical Examiner Office of New Jersey.
Okay, and what is your current title?
I'm acting Chief Medical Examiner.
Okay, for the entire state?
Yes, indeed.
Can you tell us what your current responsibilities are as the acting chief medical examiner?
As Chief State Medical Examiners, I set up policy and also evaluated the doctors and the office to see them follow the policy of like a Medical Examiner Act.
Okay. Now, I want to just approach real quick. I'm going to show you what's been marked as 379 for identification. Doctor, do you recognize that?
Yes, it's my CV.
Okay. Does that document your education, your training, and all your experience?
Yes, indeed.
Now, can I just ask you, as a starting point, to tell us about your educational background?
I graduated from medical school in 1986, almost 40 years ago. I did 3 years pediatric pathology in the largest children's hospital in Beijing. After that, I did like 6 years is like a research fellow, is a American Heart Association fellow in New York Medical College. I did a 4-year resident training, graduated from Thomas Jefferson University, which is located in Philadelphia, not far from here. After that, I did a 1-year forensic fellow training in Nashville, Tennessee.
That forensic fellow training, was that in a specific discipline of medicine?
In the forensic science.
Hey, Doctor, when we talk about the fact that you're a medical doctor, correct?
Correct.
What is your particular specialty?
I was trained in the field anatomic pathology, and also in the field clinical pathology, and also I was in this specific topic is forensic pathology. By the way, I'm board certified physician in that 3 fields.
Okay. So anatomic pathology, clinical pathology, and forensic pathology?
Correct.
Can you just first tell us what pathology is generally and then what forensic pathology is?
Yes, it's a pathology, generally speaking. They make diagnosis, why the person have disease, and in this specific subject will be why the person died. Forensic pathology is combine the medicine and the law together. And more specifically, in the capacity forensic pathology in state New Jersey, they also make a determination the manner of death. In state of New Jersey, the regular physician only can certify the case which they died natural conditions. If the person died unnatural conditions, we have to rely in the state New Jersey is a forensic pathology.
Can you just walk us through your experience, your work experience as a doctor doing forensic pathology? The doctors are doing forensic. Certainly you first have basic knowledge regarding medicine, and when we deal in forensic pathology in the state New Jersey, I cannot just purely rely on the autopsy. We have to know what's happening to the body. In the state New Jersey, each medical examiner office, they have a group of people called the investigator. They will went to the scene or get information from the police. So the first things I have to know what's happening to the case. And if need necessary before the autopsy, for example, it's a gunshot related case, we'll do the body X-ray to identify any bullet. So in general speaking, we'll talk about first know what's happening, and second do whatever studies they need to do before the autopsy. Then third step, I want to make sure. Then the third step we can see the autopsy. But for the first step autopsy, I want to check. Now the body is evidence. So I want to see integrity of the bodies. The bag is, we have like a seal numbers around the bag. We make sure that seal number is intact. If a seal number is not intact, that means potential body was contaminated or damaged. The evidence can be potential damage. I want to walk you back a step or two. Can you tell us when you first started your career as a medical examiner and where?
Yeah, I started medical examiners in Phoenix, Arizona.
And approximately how long did you work there?
It's almost 3 years.
Okay. Was there a point in time thereafter that you moved to the state of New Jersey?
Yes, indeed. After that, I did, it's almost 3 years in the Northern Regional Medical Examiner Office, which is located in Newark. They dealing the 4 counties in that specific office. Most, especially serve the county of Essex, Hudson County, Passaic County. They have high concentration homicide case. And certainly in the Phoenix, they have a much high volume of homicide case in that specific county. It's a high volume.
After your time at the Northern Region Medical Examiner's Office, where'd you go then?
I went to Middlesex County Medical Examiner's Office. Initially, when I went to that office only concentrate on the county of the Middlesex County. Then later on, they become a regional office. I was still there, but become regional office. They cover not only Middlesex County, and then they have like in also for Monmouth County. Then later on, they get the county from the Trenton sites.
Okay. So Monmouth, Middlesex, and Mercer, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So Doc, based upon your experience as a forensic pathologist and as a medical examiner, excuse me, is there a way that you could approximate the number of autopsies that you performed?
Around 5,000.
Okay. Now, during the course of those 5,000 autopsies, approximate, was the point of that to come up with or determine cause and manner of death?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and as a result of those approximately 5,000 autopsies, were you ever asked to testify in a court of law regarding conclusions that you made?
Yes, indeed.
And have you ever qualified as an expert in forensic pathology?
Yes, indeed.
Approximately how many times?
It's 250 to 300 in that capacities.
Have you qualified as a forensic pathologist, an expert in forensic pathology in the state of New Jersey?
Yes, indeed.
Have most of those qualifications been in the state of New Jersey?
Yes, yeah, and also some in the federal court, in the New Arizona and here, and some cases I was in the Phoenix area.
I just lastly wanted to ask you briefly, you talked about some training that you received in Beijing, China, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and what was that specific training that you did there?
That is like after finish medical school, I was in Beijing Children's Hospital. Again, that is in back up like 35 years ago, or 36 or 7, like 40 years ago. That time the hospital around 5,000 to 6,000 outpatient, and my personally did a baby autopsy each year around 250 cases.
You said baby autopsies?
Yeah, children autopsies. I'm sorry.
No problem. Now, Your Honor, at this time, the state would offer Dr. Zhang as an expert in the field of forensic pathology and determination of cause and manner of death.
No objection.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard me give this charge about an hour and a half ago. Does everybody remember that charge?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm not going to give that to you again, considering I just gave it to you this morning. Dr. Zhang will be qualified as an expert in forensic pathology and determination of cause and manner of death. Prosecutor.
Thank you, Judge. Now, Dr. Zhang, obviously you're here to testify about a certain case, correct?
Yes.
And obviously that involves the death of 4 individuals. Did you perform any of these autopsies?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. And how many autopsies did you perform in this case?
I did 2 cases.
Okay. And Dr. Toma did the other 2?
Yes, indeed.
Now, just to be clear, at that time, were you and Dr. Toma working in the same office?
Correct.
Okay. Now, I just want to first talk about the autopsy of Keith Caneiro. So I'm going to approach and show you what's been marked as S380 for identification. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
Okay. And is that your report, and also some notes, some toxicology results, and a body diagram?
Correct.
I just want to show you also what's been marked as S1H. I think we've discussed that some photographs were taken during the course of the autopsies of Jesse and Sophia Caneiro. Is that accurate? Can you just look and tell me if you recognize all of these photographs that are contained in here?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Now, with respect to the autopsy of Keith Caneiro, can you just walk me through how the initial steps of the autopsy, from the beginning, starting with X-ray and external examination?
Yes, I previously already talked the initial state. Now we talked specifically regarding autopsy. So when we make sure the seals are intact, we open the body bag. Normally, we'll take pictures, just show the condition which receive, and also collect evidence which relevant to each specific case. After that, we'll take out the clothes, then clean the bodies to identify any injuries, any natural disease. After that is we'll do called internal examination. Basically, we open the head, chest, abdomen. If necessary, we also do the dissection in certain parts, if necessary. So after the autopsy, we'll send histology, toxicology, which is related to the case, to the further studies. In certain cases, we can reach immediately the causal death and the manual death, and certain cases will pending the first studies until get the whole information back. Then we call the causal death and manual death.
Now, Doctor, you have S380 in front of you. I'm going to direct your attention to page 2. And I'm just going to ask you whether or not, during the beginning parts of the examination, you noted the general physical condition, height, and weight of Keith Caneiro.
Yeah, he's 67 inches tall, 201 pounds. The weight, appearance around 50 years old.
Okay. Now, did you also, I think you talked about clothing. Did you take note of the clothing that Mr. Caneiro had come to the medical examiner's office in?
Yes, indeed.
Could you talk about those items?
One is a black winter jacket with hoodies. There's a large amount of blood inside the hoodies, and also multiple gunshot-related holes around the hoodie area, and also there's a black sweat pants with the blood fluid on the back of left pants without any gunshot holes, and also there's one blue underwear. On the blue underwear, on the upper top of the underwear, there's a defect, which later on identified, which correlated gunshot wound at the lower back and upper buttock area. In that one, I didn't identify any muzzle imprint and gunpowder around that defect. Another one is a blue shirt, which transferred blood from the top of the t-shirt. And one is a pair of black socks without any blood stains, and one pair of black and white Nike brand shoes. It's possible is faint blood stain on the bottom of right shoe.
Now, you talked about the black hooded jacket that Mr. Caneiro was wearing at the time that you received him, correct?
Yes, indeed.
I just want to very quickly show you what's been marked as S299 for identification. See the markings on the back of that? S299.
Yes.
Okay. Do you recognize this jacket?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. And did you take note, as you just talked about, of any defects in a certain area within this jacket?
Yes, indeed.
And where was that generally?
Yeah, just the holes on the back of the hoodie area. Also, you are noticed in the right edge of that hoodie, there's a large defect.
Okay. Can I have the back table, please? Can I have slide 10, please? Doc, do you recognize that photo?
Yes, indeed.
And what does that photo show?
Like I mentioned before I start autopsy, the first thing I want to know what's happening. And this case, I was doing other autopsy during the daytime. I didn't went to the scene. But
Sorry, Doc, I just took it down briefly while you were talking.
the investigators went to the scene. So they took photos, reflect what's happening at the crime scene. So we can see, the person lying face down on the grass level. Also investigating report not far from the garage. It was found face down with gunshot wounds.
Okay. Now, Doc, just briefly, can I have slide 11? What are we looking at here specifically?
On the scene photo, actually, you can see this green is grass. On the hoodie, the right side hoodies, you see a relatively large defect. And even...
Sorry, I don't want to leave it up too long. I know you're...
Okay.
So, I also want to show you, because you talked about a defect in the underwear, is that correct?
Correct.
Can I have slide 5, please? You recognize that photograph, Doc?
Yes, indeed.
And what are we looking at there?
Look at the underwear put on the table. Look at on the back of the underwear. There is show the blood stain, more concentrate on the upper portion. There is a small defect.
Now, Doc, when we talk about defects, like the one on slide 5 in the underwear and the one that we just saw on the hood of the jacket, as part of your autopsy process, do you try to line up defects in clothing with injuries on a body?
Correct.
Okay. Were you ultimately, I'm not going to ask you what that is yet, but were you able to do that at times during the autopsy?
Yes. In this, sometime I'm not 100% sure, but this case, yes.
Now, I want to ask you about the process you talked about, and I know you kind of described how you go about doing autopsies, but in this case in particular with respect to Mr. Keith Caneiro, were x-rays taken?
Yes.
Okay, and can I just, can I have slide 4? Before I ask you what that shows, can you just tell us, like, kind of when these are taken and what the purpose of them is?
This is X-ray. We took the X-rays from front to back. Before autopsy, yes, you can see multiple skull fractures in the head. You see like 3 pieces, high density object inside. That is due to the fragment of the bullet.
Now, when we talk about an external examination that you conducted upon Keith Caneiro, do you kind of give a summary of that on page 2 of S380, your report?
Summary, which page?
External examination, page 2. Doc, do you see where I'm referring to?
No, I'm not. I'm not sure.
Okay, so the bottom of page 2, is there an area that says external examination?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and part of that would include what you talked about with respect to Keith Caneiro's height and weight as well as his age, correct?
Correct.
And do you make any other observations about his hair, about anything that was found upon his face, or any other injuries at that point externally?
There was multiple gunshot wound around the head and face, and the face is covered with blood.
Okay. Now, in that photograph, the slide we looked at before, I believe it was slide 11, you saw grass, correct?
Yes.
And did you also see leaves?
Yes.
Okay, and did you see any evidence of that or any remnants of the ground upon Mr. Caneiro's face?
Yes. Actually, there is there's a dirt inside of on the surface until tongue, and the tea leaf on the left upper lip.
Is it a tree leaf?
The tree leaf, yeah.
Now, as we move on with your examination, do you note in your report, and did you note it at the time of the autopsy, approximately how many gunshot wounds were observed upon Mr. Caneiro?
There are multiple gunshot wounds, but two of them I consider two actual gunshot. I think it's a re-entrance wound, and one is 100% sure is a re-entrance wound. Another wound can be another shot. So my interpretation, so there are 5 gunshot wounds.
Okay. When you classify 5 gunshot wounds, does that include certain ones where there's entry, exit, and possible re-entry?
Correct.
Okay. So just to make that clear, I want to specifically refer you to the first gunshot that you classified, or the first area of gunshot that you classified in your report at page 3. Do you see that?
Page 3. Yes.
Okay, so you see that. Doc, when you talk about the fact that you numbered them 1 through 5 in your report, you did that, right?
Correct.
Now, do those numbers, do they relate, or are you making any opinions as to the chronology of those gunshots or the sequence of them?
No.
Okay. Is 1 through 5 for ease of explanation, so to speak?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when we talk about that first gunshot wound, could you tell us, can you tell us where it is and the actual wound track and that sort of thing?
Yes, this gunshot wound is in the left lower back on the junction with the left upper buttock, close on the left side, close to the vertebral bodies. There's entrance wound, and there's also on this wound I didn't see certain compounds sitting or muscle imprints around the wound, and on the right abdomen I see the exit wound. So the gunshot, through the and another thing that I want to mention to you guys, when I mentioned the direction the bullet travel, is based on the body is in anatomic position. I'm going to identify what is anatomic position. It's basically you stand still, you face forward, you palm forward, you both feet forward, called the standard anatomic position. Whatever I mentioned direction is based on that, not based on real when the body was shot. The body can move around. The direction also can be changed in certain degree. So, thank you. You want to me?
I'm sorry, Doc. So you talked about the gunshot wound number 1, correct?
Yes.
Where does it enter the body?
It's on the left lower back. Is like a left upper buttock sides.
Okay. And Doc, once that bullet enters the lower back area, where does it go?
You see on the left lower buttock area. So the immediately fractured called the sacrum bone is the middle bone on the pelvic area. The fracture that sacrum bone, then before in front of the sacrum bone is rectum. They perforated the bone, then perforate the rectum, then they perforate the urinary bladder, and the travel from back to the front, left, right, and also had a little bit the upper version, You see, after perforate the unit bladder, then they perforate a different part of small intestine multiple times, then exit from right abdomen.
Okay, so it comes in the back and ultimately travels to the body, causing the injuries you described. Then it comes out of the abdomen, correct?
Correct.
Once it comes out of the abdomen, where does it go?
The exit wound kind of slit exit wound. So when they come out exit wound, I classify the re-entrance wound. They have a similar shape, slit exit wound on the palm, just beneath the thumb. Then exit on the back of the right hands.
Okay, can I just briefly have slide 6? Doc, do you recognize that?
It's
Doctor, you have you have it in front of you too, if that helps.
It's an entrance wound.
Okay, is that the entrance room on the rear of the lower back of Mr. Caneiro?
Yes, indeed.
Now, can I have slide 7, please? Do you recognize what that shows?
This is the exit wound I mentioned in here. In here in the abdomen.
Okay.
And also I showed the re-entrance wound on the palm surface. So I consider when they come out from here, the hands happen to be in front of the bodies. They re-entrance from palm surface, then exit from the back of right hands.
Ron, can we preserve that as
7.1?
7.1? Thank you.
Sure.
And Doctor, on the bottom of the screen, once that you hear that printing, you can hit undo. Then can I have slide 8, please? Do you recognize what that shows?
Yes.
Okay, and what does that show?
Again, show this wound is come out and also show the exit wound on the back of on the back of the hands.
So, Doctor, despite seeing marks of injury on the lower back, the right abdomen, the inside of the hand, and the outside of the hand,
Yeah.
Is it your expert opinion that this is one gunshot?
Yes, indeed. But certainly, if this case, this specific the gunshot is my opinion, but can be. I'm not 100% sure. There's no addition one shot through the hands.
Now, also on page 3 of your report, you talk about gunshot number 2, and that is in a different area, correct?
Correct.
Can you tell us what that second gunshot
The second gunshot wound is basically I use my body to demonstrate. Is the gunshot wound on the right lateral neck. The exit from the right medial neck and the re-entrance wound from the right lateral face and exit from the right cheek area.
Can I briefly have slide 13? Doc, does that photo assist with the identification of
Yes,
entry and
indeed.
exit?
Yes, indeed.
Can you see the entry and exit wounds on that photograph
Yes.
for gunshot 2?
Yeah.
You marked them with the...
Yeah, indeed. So we now look at the face from the right side. Look at the face. You can see entrance wound on the right neck. They exit from the right lateral medial side neck. Re-entrance in here. Then the bullet travel to here. So the bullet exit from the right cheek area.
Can we preserve that, please? 13.1.
13.1.
Now, can I have slide 18? Now, Doctor, do you recognize what slide 18 shows?
It's yes, indeed.
What is it?
It's the body diagram which during the autopsy identify where's the injury, the location, the measurements.
Is that something that was created by you, all that writing?
Correct.
Now, with respect to that second gunshot, can you just identify via the diagram potentially where you noted the wounds associated with gunshot 2?
Yes.
And there's a pen there, doctor. If you...
Sorry, my hand shake. I mean, that like entry down there is shot from there. The shot from right. Yeah.
Just put a number 2 under there somewhere.
Doctor, can you put the line
Oh,
back?
I'm
'Cause
sorry.
We're going to preserve that.
I'm sorry. I can
That's okay.
put there. Number 2 is in here. Gunshot 2. The entrance wound, I use arrow on the right lateral neck. Then direction is from here. Sorry. Can't reach. It's not very sensitive, but anyway, I'm not going to line the line, just confused. You see from the right lateral neck, the exit in the right cheekbone area.
18.1.
Now, I want to move on to page 4 of your report. You talk about the third gunshot wound, correct?
Yes.
Can you explain where? Can you undo that? Just hit that little undo button. That third gunshot wound. Can you tell us where that was located?
Is this on the right lateral face? I use the dots. Yeah, I use my fingers, not pinpoint my lateral face. There's a entrance wound on the right lateral face.
Doc, can we just preserve that, sir?
18.2.
I'm going to ask for slide 13 again. Doc, does that photograph assist in the identification of that?
Thank you. Yes, you can see on the right lateral face, slightly below the right ear. On the face, you can see there's a relatively large irregular abrasions on that wound. It's just upper. Is in here. I'm sorry. Now I come. That is number 3 entrance wound.
Okay, and we could preserve that. Where does that wound,
Slide 13.2.
Doctor, where does that wound ultimately exit, the third one?
So this wound is travel from right to the left, and also this wound also from the slightly upper angles and exit from the left side face.
Can I have slide 15, please? Doc, you can just hit undo on this one. Do you recognize what we're looking at here?
Yes.
What are we looking at?
This is, I just mentioned, the shot on the cheek, lower cheek area, the travel from right to left and from bottom to right side. We can see there is a irregular axis wound we call short axis wound. They are located on the left side face, just from the left lower ear. The reason called short. Short spelling is H-O-R-E-D. The short means is the bullet when they perforate the body, when they exit, they tend to be push the skin out. So normally a typical exit wound, you can see the holes or lacerations. On the surface, you won't see any abrasions. But in this case, they have like abrasions around this exit wound. They can kind of mimic entrance wound. So what's happening is anything is blocked, the bullet come off the skin. The skin surface will be against that object that create abrasions. So this is called short exit wound.
Doc, you can take that, Doc. Now, Doc, with respect to that third gunshot wound, the one that went in the right side of the face with the short exit wound to the left side of the face, did you evaluate that in conjunction with...
Slide 15.1.
We went too fast.
We need to go back, sorry.
Go back to
We
15
didn't get it fast
first.
enough.
Sorry. Doc, could you just circle that wound again? And we'll
We can print that 15.1.
Okay.
Once you hear the printer, then you can hit it.
I can do it, right?
Yes, you can, doctor.
Doctor, I was saying, did you evaluate that third gunshot injury, the one to the right side of the face, in conjunction with the black hooded sweatshirt or jacket that you described earlier, you saw earlier?
Yes.
Okay. Did you receive any information from the New Jersey State Police Trace Evidence Unit which helped you in making that conclusion?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and ultimately, what was the determination that you made with respect to gunshot injury 3?
After received that information, I combined the scene investigation. Do you see when the body was lying on the ground with the larger holes on the right lateral hoodie area? And later on, that hoodies, when they sent to the police did a gunshot residue studies. Based on police report, that the large hole is which later on I associated with the gunshot wound on the right lateral face. Based on the police study, they consider they have residues down. They consider either contact with the hoodies or or near contact with hoodies when the fire shot. Then I reviewed my autopsy. You remember I just showed that wound. They have regular large abrasions around the entrance wound compared with others. I consider that irregular abrasion may be associated with muzzle imprints. When the gun against your face, you can create irregular abrasions. And also you remember I just showed the short exit, and during autopsy I see the leaves on the upper lip, the dirt on the tongue, and the body was face on the ground. And also I have information. There's initial information. There is a bullet identified on the ground just beneath the head area. So based on all those features, later on I issue a addendum report. I consider this person already lying on the ground. The fire shot is against or close to the right side face, then push body downward. So the face, left side face against the ground, and create abrasions. And when your face move forward to the ground, you create a compressed area on your left side face, and the dirt push you the contact with the tongue. The lips had contact with the upper lip. So I consider when this shot fire is the person already lying ground, either dying or already dead. That shot, it's dying. Since I see abrasion, that means the person not dead. When you fire shot, you can see red abrasions.
Doctor, you referenced an addendum report, correct?
Yes, indeed.
Can I just for purposes of the record, can I just show you what's been marked as S381?
Yes.
Is that the addendum report that you discussed?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, thank you. Now, can I ask you about that fourth gunshot wound that you document in your autopsy report?
Before we do that, we're going to just stop for now for the lunch break. Sheriff's officer, if you don't mind, if we could just move that box. We spent a long morning. I'm going to give you guys a break now for lunch. We'll come back at 1:35, so you get a full more than an hour for lunch, and then we'll continue back on. Remember, don't discuss this case. Don't do any research. All right. Anybody need? New Jersey versus Paul Caneiro. It's indictment 19-02-0283. Can I have the appearances of counsel for the record?
Your Honor, Assistant Prosecutor Nicole Wallace on behalf of the state.
Good afternoon, Judge Chris Decker for the state.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Monica Masco on behalf of the state. Caneiro is present.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Okay, and good afternoon, Mr. Caneiro. All right, we're ready to continue with the direct examination. Prosecutor, when you're ready.
Thank you, Judge. Doctor, where we left off, I think we were beginning to discuss the fourth wound that you noted in S380, which is your report. You still have that up?
Yes, indeed.
Now, the fourth wound that's noted on page 4 of your report, can you tell us what you documented in that regard?
There's a gunshot wound on the right lateral back of the head. The entrance wound.
Okay.
And the exit wound is on the left side, frontal and the temple area.
Okay. Can I just have the back table, please? I'm going to go to S1H again. And can I have slide 14, please? Now, gunshot wound 4 that you describe in your report, can you tell us where that is?
Yes. Now we look at the body lying on the autopsy table. You notice there is one entrance wound just above right side ear. It's considered number 4 gunshot wound entrance side.
Can we preserve that, please?
14.1.
Then can we go to slide 16, please? And do you see anything on 16 with respect to the exit of that injury?
Yes.
Okay, where is that?
It's on the left, as just mentioned, the frontal and the temple area. Above the left side ear, there is a exit wound.
Can we preserve that 16.1?
Then you can I have slide 15? Is that a closer up shot of that wound?
Yes, it's a close shot for entrance wound of gunshot wound 4.
Now, with respect to, I think when you described in your report on 4, you mentioned that there was a partial exit wound. Is that accurate?
In this wound, yes, it's a partial exit wound. Yes.
Okay.
There's a
What does that mean?
Basically, we mentioned perforating gunshot wound is through and through the entrance wound, exit wound. This wound, they created exit wound, maybe partially bullet, exit from exit wound, but majority, and small, still, I don't know majority, still 3 fragments of the bullet, including 1 jacket, 2 core of the bullet, identified inside of skull and the head area.
Now, Doc, is it fair to say that that projectile perforated the scalp initially upon entry?
There's the pieces exit from exit wound.
Okay. Now, talking about the entry, does the projectile perforate the scalp, fracture the right inferior parietal bone?
Correct.
Okay. And then does it go through the right parietal lobe
Yes, indeed.
to the left parietal
To
lobe?
the left side, yes.
And during the course of that, did it fracture the junction of the left parietal bone with the left frontal bone area?
Correct.
And then we have that partial exit, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and ultimately, as a result of that partial exit of the projectile or the portions thereof, did you recover portions of that bullet?
Yes.
Okay.
I remember I recovered 3 pieces.
Okay. Can I have slide 17, please? Do you recognize that?
Yes. You can see on the top is the yellow color. It's a jacket of bullet. There's a metal color or lead color is the core of the bullet. Certainly you can see the fragment of the bullet severely deformed.
Okay. Now, Doctor, ultimately, as a result of the recovery of those 3 portions of the bullet from the brain of Mr. Caneiro, was that provided to one of the detectives who was there from the prosecutor's office to assist with documentation of the autopsy?
Yes, indeed.
Now,
Can we preserve that, 17.1?
Now, just going to, you can go back to that. I'm going to ask you about the 5th gunshot wound. Could you just undo that, Doctor? I'm sorry. Can you click the undo button? Thank you, sir. Now, the 5th gunshot wound, is that also documented in your report?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. And could you just indicate how you describe that 5th gunshot wound?
You just remember the 4th entrance wound on the right, lateral the head, and there's another entrance wound is above the previous mentioned number 4 entrance wound. There's a number 5 entrance wound on the right top of the head.
Can I have slide 14, please? Do you recognize the 5th entrance gunshot wound in that photograph?
Yes, indeed. We identify one entrance wound on the top of the head, slightly in front of number 4 entrance wound.
Okay. Can we preserve that?
14.2?
Now, can you talk about where, Doctor, can you talk about where that, once that bullet enters where you just circled, where's the bullet go?
The bullet fractured, perforated the scalp, fractured the parietal, right side parietal bone through the top of the brain, the exit from the left side parietal bone. Fractured left parietal bone, then exit from left top of the head.
Doctor, when you, I'm sorry.
Again, this, like, remember the face, number 2, number 3, number 4, and the number 5. They go through the same pathway, from the right to left, from the back to front, and also with a slightly up version.
Doctor, that wound that we just talked about, number 5, the entrance wound, you talked about the path. You described the exit wound as being, in your report, as being a large, elongated exit wound. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Can I just have slide 16, please? You recognize that large, elongated exit wound in slide 16?
Yes. You can see there's a large defect on the left top of the head,
Okay.
which is the front of left side ear, on the on the left anterior lateral of the head.
Can we preserve that, please?
16.2?
Doctor, you described somewhat before lunch and now five gunshot injuries sustained by Keith Caneiro, correct?
Correct.
Now, the first one we talked about was in the lower back area. That's where
Yes.
it entered, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then it exited through the abdomen, went through his hand, and exited again, correct?
Yes.
Now, with respect to gunshot wounds 2, 3, 4, and 5, were any of those gunshot wounds below the shoulder area?
None of them.
They were all above the shoulder area?
You are right.
Now, I think at times, specifically gunshot wound 5, you noted bilateral, subdural, and subarachnoid hemorrhage in the brain.
Actually, number 4 I also noticed. The both lead to the subdural subarachnoid hemorrhage, brain lacerations, brain contusion. One push the brain, the bullet down there. The other part of brain tissues against the skull that created contusions. And also, I didn't describe after you can see through the X-ray, the top of the head become pieces. Just all the skull kind of when the bullet hit the skull, lost energy. You see the bullet break up, created temporary cavities, kind of small plastic injuries. So the head, top of the head, on X-ray you can see all become pieces.
Can I have slide 4? Is that the X-ray that you're referring to, Doctor?
Yes, you see the black gap is air. I mean, you can see the head is deformed on top of the head, and you see all the gap. It means each individual fracture bones down there.
Okay, good thing. Now, as a result of your autopsy process, both external and internal, and that which you've testified to already, did you determine whether or not, at the time of his death, Keith Caneiro was suffering from any natural diseases?
No,
Okay. Did you note something regarding coronary artery disease?
I identify that case has some heart conditions. We call coronary artery. This supply the blood and the nutrition to the heart.
Did that cause his death, Doctor?
No, in this case.
Okay. Now, I just want to ask you also, with respect to this autopsy, did you at some point take a DNA or a blood sample from Keith Caneiro during the autopsy?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. And was that provided to that same detective who took the projectiles?
Correct.
Okay. Now, with respect to toxicology panels, did you order those as well?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. And did you ultimately receive back toxicology results regarding Keith Caneiro?
Yes, indeed.
And ultimately, were those negative?
Let me double check.
Sure.
Yes, you are right.
Okay. Now, based upon your autopsy, and in light of your training and experience that you described previously, were you able to determine or opine as to a cause of death for Keith Caneiro?
Yes, indeed.
What was that?
The cause of death is a multiple gunshot wounds.
Okay. And with respect to the manner of death, were you able to make any conclusions there from your autopsy?
Homicide.
Okay. And what does homicide actually mean?
That's one person killed another person.
Okay. Now, that cause and manner, those cause and manner opinions that you just talked about, are those based upon the performance of the autopsy, the things you saw in conjunction with your education, your training, and your experience?
And also including investigation.
Including investigations, because that's part of the process, correct?
Correct.
And that's why it was important for you to talk about what you saw photographically at the scene at 15 Willowbrook.
Correct.
Now, Doctor, I want to ask you about the second autopsy that you performed on that same date, which was November 21st, 2018, right?
Yes,
Okay, and that was with respect to Sophia Caneiro, correct?
yes,
And did you, as part of the culmination of that autopsy, did you draft a report?
correct.
Okay, and did that report ultimately include toxicology, the actual report, as well as your body diagram and some other notes from the investigators?
Yes, indeed.
I'm just going to show you what's been marked as S382 identification. I'll ask you if you recognize that, doctor.
Yes, this including my autopsy report, which have the name Sophia Caneiro, and the case number is 13-18-1301. The case 13 is the county of Almas County. The 18 is the year of 2018. Case number 1301 is a specific related to this case. So in all the following photos, they all have this label associated with this case.
Now, doctor, with respect to the autopsy that you conducted or performed upon Sophia Caneiro, did you do it in a similar manner to which you had done for her father, Keith Caneiro?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Did that include x-rays that were taken prior to any real internal or external examination?
Yes.
Okay. Can I have slide 20, please? And doctor, do you recognize slide 20?
Yes, indeed.
What do we see there?
We show the body was lying on the table. We take the photo of the bodies. On those, there was to show the EKG leads on the shoulder area. Also, is also a little bit high density. The pieces, actually, they are not bullet. They are just gravel stones. Since the initially body was found the first landing between first floor and the second floor, they moved the body from the fire side to the gravel surface. So those stones is contamination basically on the ground, and show the injuries on the. You can see on the right side chest. If you compare the left side the chest, it's all quite black. That means the person also have what we call the pneumothorax, the air into the right chest. So the compress the right lung. Normally, the chest cavity is negative pressure, so you can expand the lung. So, and also the lung is collapsed, and kind of push the heart towards to the left side, the bodies. And yes.
Okay. Can we preserve that, please?
20.1.
Doc, you can undo that if you don't mind. Doctor, as part of any autopsy, and specifically this one, did you take note of any clothing that Sophia Caneiro was wearing at the time?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and there was two items, correct?
Yes.
What were they?
They were, one is a shirt, one is underwear.
Okay. And
The shirt is, which is covered with blood.
Now, can I just have slide 21? You recognize that, Doc?
Yes.
What is that?
It's basically, in this case, later on, I will introduce other evidence. So they are in the fire scenes. So you can see the clothing already partially burned. So I have cut on the surface, lateral surface, in order to preserve the evidence. So basically, this shirt on the purple one is on the back. The body is protected, clothing be burned, were burned. So on the top is a front shirt. In the front shirt and also on the back, you see a lot of empty space that later on correlated with the stab wound. When you perforate the body, create a defect on the clothing.
Now, Doc, during the course of the beginning of your report, specifically page 2 of that document, you go on to describe your initial impressions of Sophia Caneiro, correct?
Yes,
And that included the fact that she was 48 inches, right?
yes,
45 pounds,
correct.
and she was how old?
8 years old.
Okay. Did you describe her hair color?
Yes, it's she has a light brown hair, but the hair, top of the hair, is I described in my report. It's a singe. That means get thermal burns. Not totally burned yet. You start after burn, you start shrinking. A singe.
Doctor, were you able to evaluate or determine her eye color?
Since with the thermal burns, you really cannot see real color since have a thermal burn effect.
Did you document that there were large stab wounds on the left side of her nose?
Yes, indeed. There's a multiple large stab wound on the left head.
Okay. And did you note something regarding the upper frenulum?
Yeah, the upper frenulum is a small ligament between in the front line, in the upper lip area. So that small ligament is teared.
Did you make any observations of whether or not there was any blood in her mouth?
Also, there's a large amount of blood in the mouth.
Did she have multiple cuts and stab wounds to the chest?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. And was her face covered with blood and soot?
Yes, indeed. The whole body covered by soot. So make me, in this case, very difficult doing the autopsy since the soot and the dry blood cover the wound. So we have to really carefully clean the wound in order to identify the nature of injuries.
Did you note at times in different places radiant heat burns?
Yes, the whole body, especially in the front, show the radiant thermal burns. On the back, get partially burns, but a certain area is still preserved, especially when the body against, like buttock area, against the floor. They are kind of protected by body positions. In those areas will be less burn.
Now, Doctor,
or unburned.
During the course of the report, you document evidence of injury. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. And you described in the beginning, part 1, you described evidence of sharp force injuries. Is that right?
Yes.
What did you mean when you said sharp force injuries?
Generally speaking, we talk about sharp injuries is by sharp instrument, either with a pointed or sharp edge. So those injuries is due to cut, not by force. The blunt force injuries by force, they break the tissue, tear tissues. The sharp force injury is cut motion into the body.
Okay. Now, Doctor, if you recall, is it accurate that you documented under sharp force injuries 17 injuries or groups of injuries?
I artificially divided like 17 groups based on locations, but not means 17 injuries. It's 17 group injuries.
Now, I know that you document a lot. You just said it was 17. But I'm going to refer you to that report that's in front of you, if I can.
Yes.
And specifically, I just wanted to just note the number. For the record, we're looking at S382, correct?
Yes.
Now, I'd like to start with number 1 and ask you that first injury that you noted.
the first injury is like a deep cut on the right top of the head, which the cut length is 1.5 inches.
Okay. And the second injury or group of injury that you noted was what?
Is injury, the stab wound on the back left armpit area, which 7 1/8 inch in length and 1/2 inch in width. Normally, we mention the stab wound. If I mention the length of the wound, tend to correlate the width of the blade, and the depth wound tend to associate the length of the blade, but certainly not the injury will be fully penetrated. But they're correlated a certain degree down there. So this, and again, I mentioned to you, majority thermal burns in the anterior surface. On the back area, some area is less burn or unburned. In that injuries, I try to identify the length of the wound. In the thermal area, I just mentioned whatever size. Doesn't mean is the shape of the wound. So let me go back to, I'm sorry, I have to tell the jury whatever the preconditions. So this wound is a 7/8 inch, a little bit less than 1 inch, and the 1/2 inch in width. And the depth of the wound is 1 inch. This wound is from the back to front and downward. Just remember, from back to front, downward.
Doctor, with respect to those measurements, I think you said it, but just to be clear, were you confident with respect to the measurements when you talk about 7/8 of an inch in length, 1/2 an inch in width?
So I put the notes, I'm sorry. In my report, I said notes, due to thermal injury, the measurement, the length and width of this wound are not accurate.
And it's not accurate because of the smoke and fire conditions?
Just thermal injury. When the thermal injury, you tissue is fixed. They can maybe artificial in large size, or maybe they smaller than real size.
Now, you note the third injury, is that accurate?
Yes.
What's the third injury that you note?
I noticed on the back, the middle of the back, the baby, there have 2.5 inches length cut. And this cut is certainly all the cut on the back is from back to front. Also had downward. The cut is downward to the body.
And then the fourth, I note that you indicate there's 2 stab wounds, correct?
Yes, there's a 2 stab wound on the right lateral buttock. The top stab wound measure 3/4 by 1/2 inches. The lower stab wound is located at a little bit non-thermal injury area. So this measurement is more accurate, like real injury patterns. I mentioned the length of that wound is 1.8 inch in length, 3/16 inch in width. And when you look at that shape of the wound, there's one sharp edge, one blunt edge. So indicate the weapons, whatever stab to the buttock area, most likely is a single edge blade.
Again, is that what you just described? Is that back to front?
Yes, this wound is from the back to front and the top to bottom.
So downward.
Downward.
Now, number 5, you talk about a superficial vertical cut at the right posterior lateral thigh measuring 3 inches in length, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And when you talk about right posterior lateral thigh. Can you tell us where that is?
It's basically, I said, all the basic standard position is on the lateral side of the right thigh, on the back lateral side.
Now, that sixth wound, again, I think it's 2 wounds at least, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us about the sixth wound?
These 2 stab wound on the left side the nose, measuring up to 1 inch in length. The wound direction is front to back, slightly slightly right when I'm talking to the baby, the child, from the right to left, and slightly that is on the face, slightly from the bottom to top, slightly upward, and these 2 wounds cut through the nose, cut through the nose, and through the sinus. And since I just remember on the left side nose, this wound from front step on the back, a little bit upward. So when the wound into the left side, the face through the sinus, they hit the bottom of the skull. The brain inside the skull. The bottom skull we call left frontal fossa. On the base of the skull, there are frontal fossa, middle fossa, and posterior fossa. So the knife penetrating front to back from slightly from the right to left and slightly upward hit the bottom of the skull and fracture the base of the skull.
Can I just very briefly have slide 22? You recognize that, Doc?
Yes, indeed.
Is that consistent with the injury you just described?
Yes.
Moving on to number 7, you document 6 cuts or stab wounds. Can you explain that?
There are 6 cut and stab wound on the middle anterior portion of the chest, in around the nipple level up and the lower area. There are total 16 totally 16 cuts and the stab wounds. Again, if grouping them together, they are going. The knife is going to front to back. One of the wound cut through the right upper chest, which penetrated through the right and number 5, number 6 lateral ribs, create a cut, 1 inch cut in the middle of right lung, and superficially cut all the way deep, cut into the back of the chest cavities. So this wound measure the depth of the wound around 3 inches.
Now, that group of injuries there, Doc, under number 7 that you just discussed.
I'm sorry, I didn't finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, let me finish the wound. So you remember the X-ray? There's a dark area on the right side lung. We mentioned the pneumothorax, since they cut through the lung, and also the wound, deep wound into the chest cavity, introduce air into the chest cavities. So this wound lead to the blood on the chest. We call the blood in the chest, and also have called the pneumothorax means air in the chest. So the right side lung therefore called lung collapse. I use the term atelectasis, basically collapse the lung, and push the organs, the heart towards the left. Since when you at least lost one side, you cannot breathe. When the lung collapses, you cannot change air. When push the heart towards the left side lung, also partially compress left lung, make the person difficult to breathe.
So what I was going to say is that's consistent with what you described earlier from the x-ray, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now moving on to the eighth grouping of injuries. Can you describe that?
There's a stab wound on the right lateral chest. So this wound measures 7/8 by 1 inch. Again, in the thermal area. Stab wound. This stab wound from right to left, slightly top to bottom. This stab wound through the skin, right lateral chest wall, through the ribs. They cut the fracture number 9. This through number 8 to number 10 ribs space. Into there on the way there, cut through the fracture or cut the right number 9 rib. And then when they go to initially go to the lower chest cavities, then after they go to chest cavity, they into the right side diaphragm. Right side diaphragm separate the chest organ and abdomen. Through the right diaphragm, then further into the liver, the right lobe of the liver. Certainly, when you damage the liver, you have a hemorrhage in the abdominal cavity. We call the hemoperitoneum. There is a small amount of injuries, the blood in there. So this wound depth is around 3¼ inch in depth from the cut through the, we talk about baby, through, almost through the right to the midline area. 3¼ inch in depth. Thank you.
And the ninth group of injuries, you talk about one stab wound to the anterior right thigh, correct?
Correct.
And also one stab wound on the left thigh, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And the direction of those wounds was what?
From the front to back.
And did you also measure those?
Yeah, this is again the front leg was burned. So I measure 3¼ by 3/4. Another wound measure 3/4 by 1/4.
Now, number 10 is 2 vertical cuts on the medial surface of the right lower leg and 1 vertical cut on the medial surface of the right ankle. Is that
Correct.
right? And they measure 2 to 3 inches in length.
Correct.
Now, number 11, you talk about a stab wound on the left anterior upper arm, correct?
Correct.
What's the direction there?
The direction wound is front to back.
Now, just number 12 is a perforating stab wound of the right forearm.
Correct.
What does perforating mean? If you could
Perforated again, the same concept. Use bullet or knife. That means the knife enter the body, then exit from the body.
And that perforating stab wound of the right forearm, what else did you note in that regard?
So this, just remember, this entrance wound is located on the posterior lateral of right forearm, on the back lateral of the forearm, close to the elbow,
Okay.
and measures 1 inch by ½ inch. So this wound direction is back to front, and top to bottom. I mean, from shoulder is top, the hands the bottom. It's, remember, back to front. It's a little bit downward.
And just to that area, very briefly, Doc, can I have slide 25? Now, you talk about injury to the right forearm. Is that accurate?
Correct, correct.
Okay. And you also
Yeah,
talk...
I'm going to label.
Okay.
So the elbow is here. So the close elbow on the back of the and the lateral of right forearm.
And Doc, just very quickly, do you see some of the chest injuries that you described earlier?
Yes, you see multiple gapping stab wound and all cut.
Can we preserve that and take it down?
25.1.
Doc, talk about, if you could undo that, Doc. Talk about number 13 being a faint cut on the right forearm. Is that essentially in that same area you just described?
Yes.
Like between the perforated stab wounds you just described?
And also there's a stab wound and the superficial cut on the right elbow.
Okay. And is there also under number 14, is there a deep cut on the posterior right wrist?
Correct. But the measuring 1 3/4 inches in length.
Okay. And then number 15 says vertical skin split from the back of the right hand,
Yes, indeed.
and that's toward the distal forearm.
Correct.
Then you also note a horizontal skin split somewhere else.
Yeah, at the right metal phalangeal joints, basically it's the knuckle area. There's a addition which consists of superficial cuts. Since when you cut down there on you, the wound, one of the thermal injuries, they start to split. And since the reason I consider is now the burn artifact is real injuries, since in the dermal area, I still can see the linear cut down there. So I reach conclusion. Those skin split is now due to the thermal artifact. It's due to, since the reason how split, since that area or the fat tissue are exposed to the air. So the fire will be more start in the fat area. So they need to skin split, but underneath indicate the reason how skin split on the right wrist area is due to the injury.
And you note number 16, 3 superficial cuts on the medial surface of the left forearm?
Correct.
Okay. And then 17 is a cut on the right lateral lower face.
Correct.
And then you
So
mentioned-
the cut is measured is 1.5 inch in length.
Did you then go on to note any blunt force injuries?
Yes, indeed.
What's a blunt force injury?
But blunt force injuries is inflicted by any object. They don't have sharp cutting edge, but they can, with the force, you can create a contusion, means in the underneath skin hemorrhage. Abrasion is the skin surface damage. We call it abrasion.
And you noted those abrasions on the right upper eyelid, right?
Yes, so abrasion on the right upper eyelid and abrasions on the temple area, just below the right eye, and small contusions on the anterior chin, and small abrasions on the right lower lip, on the right lower lip. There are abrasions and contusions on the left lower chest, and the purple contusion on both anterior knee.
Doctor, was there a point in time when you documented that you were asked to document whether some of these injuries could be consistent with defensive wounds?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to ask you to get specific as each wound, but based upon what I'm showing you, S383, you indicate that certain wounds were consistent based upon your training and experience and this autopsy itself with defensive wounds.
Do you remember I grouping all the sharp injuries 1 to 17? So number 9, number 10, number 12, number 13, number 14, number 15, number 16. Those group injuries, my opinion, is they are consistent with the defense wound.
And just very briefly, when we look at slide 23, we're looking at the right leg of Sophia Caneiro, correct?
Correct.
Is there evidence, based upon your examination, of wounds that you believe to be consistent with defensive wounds?
Yes.
Okay.
You see the vertical cuts on the anterior chain area. You see the stab wound on the right side. You see the stab wound on the left side. Those wounds for me is indicate Sophia was lying on the ground. Somebody tried to stab them. They use the leg, try to dodge the knife.
Okay. Can we preserve that?
23.1.
Can I just briefly have slide 24, please? Got to undo that. Thanks, Doc. And then last, slide 24, please. Is that also consistent with what you believe to be consistent with defensive wounds upon Sophia?
Yes. Now we're looking for, from upper version, look at the right foot. You can see on the right ankle area have a cut. Maybe have another cut on down here. I'm not 100% sure.
Can we preserve?
24.1.
As to all the injuries that you have discussed this afternoon, did you document them on a body diagram of Sophia Caneiro?
Yes, indeed.
Slide 26. You recognize that?
Yes.
Is that all you're writing?
Yes. So there's clearly show the label 13-18-1301 with the decedent name and all the injuries.
And the purpose of that is to show where all of those injuries are, and there's also certain measurements on that diagram, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and does that accurately depict, your sketch of, during the course of the autopsy, of the injuries that Sophia sustained?
Yes, indeed. You'll notice almost the entire body was our injuries.
Now, you talked about thermal injuries already, correct?
Yes.
And was there any evidence internally of smoke inhalation?
Yes, indeed. There is a soot in the tongue and the upper airway.
Now, in order to, as a result of those observations, do you immediately conclude anything, or do you look to get further testing?
Since when you inhale smoke, majority component of smoke is carbon monoxide. So that when you inhale the smoke, including carbon monoxide, so when the body inhales carbon monoxide, normally in the blood, in the red cells, they have hemoglobin. Normally they combine with oxygen together, then deliver oxygen from your lung side into the tissues. In the cellular level, they can exchange air, so the tissue have oxygen to supply energy for the tissues. However, when CO into the bodies, they will start to bonding with hemoglobin called carboxyhemoglobin. So there will be show certain kind of concentration carboxyhemoglobin. In this case, I believe it's 49%. I will double check. Yes, 49% carboxyhemoglobin in the system. Put this way, for 10%, normally people feel the nausea, vomiting. If about 40%, that means you can die just by smoke inhalation. She had 49%. Plus, I saw the soot in the airway, indicate that person was stabbed by several times, then leave the body alive.
Now, doctor, as a result of your autopsy, I would imagine that you concluded that Sophia Caneiro at age 8 wasn't suffering from any natural diseases that would have contributed to her death, correct?
Correct.
And with respect to your examination and based upon your training and experience, were you able to come up with a determination as to cause of death of Sophia Caneiro?
Yes, indeed.
And what was the cause of death that you concluded?
Sharp force injuries and smoke inhalation.
Again, as a result of your training experience and your autopsy of Sophia Caneiro, were you able to come up with a determination as to the manner of death?
Homicide.
Judge, I have no further questions.
Ross?
We don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay. Doctor, you can step down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know you want it.
Just remind them all Friday morning, 8 o'clock.
I will.
Okay. We have concluded the testimony for today. It was a long day, so we've concluded for today. I've decided to do that. We will start back up on Friday morning, same time, same place. It'll be 8 o'clock on Friday morning. We start at 8:30, and we'll continue on with the testimony at that point in time. Until such time, everyone, Mr. Caneiro, we'll see you back on Friday. We'll make sure that we're all ready to go. All right? Thank you, everyone. Everybody have a good day.